Thank you for pressing play, you're in for a treat. This podcast is all about providing you with long-term holistic methods of improving your mental and emotional health, as well as methods to instantly reduce stress, pain, and anxiety. Methods for dealing with conflicts, job stress, and relationship difficulties, grief, illness, and so much more. While this content is phenomenal and can greatly assist you, we must remind you that it is not intended to replace your psychiatrist or medical doctor. This discussion is a broader discussion about mental and emotional health and should not be interpreted as specific advice in a specific situation because every situation is unique.
Welcome to this week's episode of Mental and Emotional Health from the Holistic Perspective. And before I introduce our guest, I want to give this disclaimer that this is a general discussion about mental health or emotional health, and it's not to be interpreted as specific advice in a specific situation. Every situation can be unique. This is not meant to replace your psychiatrist or medical doctor. That said, I am thrilled and honored to have with me the infamous Dr. McCoy. She is a mom, yay moms, pharmacist, wellness coach, entrepreneur, keynote speaker, and an international best-selling author. Dr. McCoy is a graduate of the Methodist University, where she obtained her bachelor's in science in chemistry with a concentration in biochemistry. Is she heavy or what? Yeah, you just wait. She also double minored in Spanish and mathematics, okay? She completed her doctorate in pharmacy and master's in business administration. Her degrees are from High Point University. Dr. McCoy ditched the traditional ways of embarking into a career to pave her own way using her unique experiences. I love this. Her goal is to transform and empower women to create more balance and a sustainable well-being in their lives. And that's where I believe she ties in her being a mom, because that's what brings in the balance. And I am so honored and thrilled to have you here with me, Dr. McCoy. And I would just want to let you tell your story, okay? And please take it away.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, I'm certainly grateful for this opportunity to be able to speak on your platform. So I certainly appreciate the opportunity, Kimberly. Yeah. Awesome. So sure, just tell my story. So I kind of grew up in rural North Carolina, which I am in North Carolina now, and I'm based out of. But essentially, I just remember as a kid just being super curious and saying, wow, there's so many people with all these different, the word is comorbidities, but they have so many different conditions: high blood pressure, diabetes, other heart conditions, just so many things just not working right. And I could not understand what was really the foundation behind that. What I really knew is that whatever we were doing, it definitely wasn't working for us, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And so that just kind of propelled me down this essentially this rabbit hole of realizing, yeah, I want to be some sort of a doctor. At this point, it really didn't matter what kind of doctor, because ultimately I just wanted to help people. I wanted to transform lives, and I wanted to just kind of empower and support people to really just be their best.
I love that, because, I'm just thinking about all the people out there who don't know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And for you, you picked up on, hey, something's not right here, and I want to be a part of the solution. Mm-hmm. And so, hallelujah. Go on.
Well, no worries. Thank you so much. And so ultimately that landed me in pharmacy school. And so being in pharmacy school, sure, there's other departments with the doctor of physical therapy students, the PA students, and I had friends in all categories. And what I really easily realized was that none of us were receiving enough nutrition or diet and lifestyle education. And that really just kind of shook me in a different way. And I realized, okay, that's a major gap that I certainly want to fill. And I have some sort of a passion within that I feel that I can make some sort of a change or transformation. And so that's what really propelled degree to kind of just move towards just move in a non-traditional manner and kind of just do my own health and wellness coaching, and essentially become this more holistic pharmacist where I am really tying in multiple modalities in addition with your medications, and realizing, for example, let's say a patient is a diabetic and maybe they're on a metformin and a statin. Well, little do they whether they may or may not know this, but that those medications are actually depleting their vitamin B12 levels and their coenzyme Q10 levels. So one thing that I do, for example, is I introduce the idea of the fact that those medications may be depleting some of those very much important nutrients. And whereas we talk about quality supplementation and how they can implement that with their current medication regimens. So that's just one example of how I work.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
You are a godsend, because when I too have a heart for these, people that are on the medication, and I see how it is depleting vital nutrients. And to have someone from your side, coming from the doctor side, the pharmacy side, to appreciate that, it melts my heart. Because
well,
this is so needed. I want to shout this thing out from the rooftop. You go right ahead.
Awesome. That's amazing. I certainly appreciate your respect for the craft. Absolutely. So so that's one of the things that I do now with how I move as a wellness coach, but I tie in other things with mindset, and because it does start with the thoughts and the mindset shift of that it is possible to become well. It is possible to reverse some of those conditions or disease states. It is possible to just get better, to age well, to age more gracefully. Sure, aging is inevitable, but we can age better. And I help people realize that and have that shift so that we can accomplish something and transform their life. So really just kind of to talk more about the nutrition side, because that's where a lot of my passions do lie. I think I want to make an analogy here. And what I want to use is think about an expensive car, right? So your brain functions, when your brain functions, it pretty much needs that premium fuel. It doesn't need 87. It needs what is it? I think it's like 99 or 90. Yeah, it needs the big guns, right? And so whenever you're eating quality foods, again, the key word is quality foods, that contains those premium substances like vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and those things nourish the brain. It protects us from inflammation and oxidative stress and all these other things that just really wreak havoc and cause some trouble within our bodies. And so unfortunately, because our bodies are like an expensive car, whenever you do put in the cheap gas, and when I make the analogy of cheap gas, that's like the processed foods, the refined foods, the fast foods, right?
Yes,
your body. Exactly. Your body's not able to rid itself of that bad stuff because it's toxins. It may deposit in the fat within your bodies. It may sit a lot longer in the brain or in your gut, and you're not able to get rid of them as easily. And so those things can worsen your body's regulation of insulin, causing diabetes and other things. It promotes more inflammation, and it even causes more oxidative stress. So more wrinkles, cancerous lesions, different things are caused when we are not adequately protected with things like antioxidants and other micronutrients like vitamins.
I'm so glad this is being recorded. You just hit that replay and listen to that again, because that is just golden. It's vital knowledge.
It is. And unfortunately, science has actually proven that, for example, chronic low-grade inflammation, it actually is a silent killer, which contributes to cardiovascular disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and many other conditions. So there are consequences and correlations that we can make between not only what we eat, but how we feel, ultimately how we behave, and even to the kinds of the kinds of bacteria within your gut. All of these things influence your mental capacity, your emotional capacity, and in the long term, your physical capacity.
Yeah, that's absolutely, absolutely. You know, I think that it's going to take people like yourself who are coming from that background of medical, the pharmaceutical, understanding, what it's doing. You know the benefits and the detriments, and you can balance it and help them to even move forward beyond it. I love that. So yes, go ahead.
So even to kind of just dive a little bit further into micronutrients, for example, so we need the vitamins and minerals to just help with basic physiological functions. So metabolism, growth, development. And for decades, big organizations like the World Health Organization and other organizations like that, they've been talking about these malnutritions in magnesium, calcium, choline, phosphorus, iron, folate, zinc, and other things. And so there's this survey assessment called the NHANES, and they actually suggest that micronutrient malnutrition, which is actually really common in the United States, it's not only specific to just developing countries, but countries that are developed like ours. There's even an estimated of 31% of the population at risk of developing one or more of these deficiencies. So let's say, I think we have about 328 million people here. That's about 101 million people that will suffer with one or more of these deficiencies in vitamins and minerals, also known as micronutrients. So it's very much important to realize that when you're deficient in these things, they do lead to metabolic disorders, reduced immune function, reduced endocrine function, cognitive function, and all these other different things. And so there's actually what I call a bi-directional caveat. So it goes both ways, where your dietary choices impact your mental wellness, but your mental health states affect your dietary habits, your food choices, the patterns within your diet. So I kind of wanted to throw that in there as well.
Yeah. It sounds to me like the American diet, what, people eat all the time, is what's causing our illnesses.
Yeah, it's actually called the SAD diet, the standard American diet.
Standard American diet.
It is very sad.
Can I share just a quick story
Sure.
that I thought that I found it was my eye opener. This was 1995, I think 95. I was traveling down the road, moved back to California from Washington. I saw a Trader Joe's store. I thought it was interesting. I'd never been to one before. So I walked in the store. Now I had shopped at Lucky's, Albertsons, Safeway, and Jimco. I'm dating myself, but I went in the store and I walked around the store and I didn't recognize anything in that store. And I left out thinking, okay, fast forward a year later, I had been educated about my health and I started shopping at the health food store. Well, yeah, I had all these things, all these no processed food. Well, back then they didn't have anything else in the grocery store. It was all processed with high fructose corn syrup and just all the things that are not healthy. And so I said, okay, I guess I have to go to the health food store if I want to eat healthy. Are you kidding me? And so I was going to the health food store, and just quick story, quick finish it up. I was going, man, this is expensive. And a person said to me that just happened to be shopping in the store in the aisle, says, oh, I get those things from Trader Joe's. And so then I went, now I go into Trader Joe's and it's like my eyes have been opened. I
Right.
can appreciate everything in there. I'm reading, oh, okay. And that was my favorite store. I still shop at the health food stores, but when I wanted to get, little specialty stuff, I went to Trader Joe's. And but I'm just contrasting the difference
Mm-hmm.
of where we are. So listen to Dr. McCoy. She's opening your eyes. So when you go into these health food stores, you're not seeing, it's not going to be foreign language to you.
Yeah, and you bring up a really great point, because we don't know what we don't know, and a lot of times we're just not educated. And even like now, like, there our school systems should be better equipped, better educated. There should be more tools behind what about that apple a day keeps the doctor away. We hear an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yes, catchy, but that's not enough. That's not motivating enough to actually eat the apple.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And so I think that there should be better emphasis on. I understand everybody don't want to dive deep into all the details of the big words, micronutrients and all this other stuff, but I think that there should be a little bit more detail behind the reasons why, or the importance of, that will help add to the inspiration or the motivation behind taking better care of yourselves at its foundational level. And even like how I started with the analogy of a car, that makes sense to people, right?
Yes.
It makes sense if I'm driving a sports car. Gosh, I'm not into cars, but a Mustang or one of those fancy Lamborghinis or Ferraris or whatever,
Yeah.
I want to put the good gas in there, right? I don't want to tear up my engine.
I think that Cars movie, or just something like that, to help the kids relate to the difference of putting these nutrient-rich foods in their body. And I also
Absolutely.
think that the schools that are doing gardening, that are teaching the kids how to grow their own fresh fruits and vegetables, that's the future that I
I
see.
agree. I agree. That to me is sustainability. That to me is, if anything happened, you know how to figure it out. You know how to eat. You know how to get the appropriate nutrition for those building blocks that make up every part of yourself, to be able to sustain and grow and develop and continue to have the basic physiological functions, like we talked about earlier, the metabolic functions, the growth and the development, all of those basic things that we need to maintain and to continue to have a functioning mental capacity and emotional capacity as well. So all those things are certainly important. And you made another great point that I kind of want to talk about here. So all these different stores, we may have this perception that just because it's a fruit or a vegetable, it's healthy for me, or just because it's in a health food store, it must be properly treated or properly
Or
cared for.
not treated.
But exactly, but that is not the case. That is not an assumption that we can no longer make. Unfortunately, there is a lot of pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, misbranding, adulterations, different things that affect the foods that we eat. And there's this website I want to give, ewg.org.
Yes, the Environmental Working Group. Got
The
it.
Environmental Working Group, yes. Every year they put out the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And what that essentially means is, the Dirty Dozen is the top 12 fruits and vegetables that have the most pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, basically the bad stuff. And so those are the things that you want to wash a lot more heavily than you do any other fruits and vegetables. Those are also the things that you want to buy organic when you can, because organic, it does not mean that it's completely free from those bad chemicals, but it is mostly paid more attention to, a lot closer to than non-organic. And when it comes to the Clean 15, those are the fruits and vegetables that you may not have to wash as harshly, or you don't have to buy organic, because they typically don't have as much chemical additions to it.
Good information. That's excellent information.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so I really like the ewg.org, because they also by zip code, they can tell you about the different chemicals in your water.
Wow.
They have a whole water database.
Wow.
Yes, and so they're able to tell you about the heavy metals, for example, in your water. And these things are important because, again, if you're taking in all these chemicals, all these heavy metals, you know, your brain is not able to function at the normal capacity that it's supposed to. It's not optimal. It's not the premium gas for your engine, right? And so
Wow.
it's important that we start being more cautious about the things that we do and take into our bodies, because those things, again, there are scientific backings and clinical evidence behind when our nutrition is not optimal, when the things that we put inside our bodies are not optimal, that it does translate to different comorbidities or conditions or diseases.
We are what we eat.
We are, in fact,
and
what we eat.
digest.
And what we digest and what we absorb and what we drink, and the things that we the environment that we are in, the paint in your walls. Sometimes some people don't realize that some of their paint still contains lead.
Wow.
Even the glossy flavor on your hardwood floors, those are chemicals that are being absorbed into the bottom of your feet.
Wow, how our house could be making us sick.
Yes, your environment matters, guys. And I understand that we can't get rid of all of those things. And it shouldn't be your goal to get rid of all of those things. It's very much important that you just start making the conscious effort with the awareness to say, okay, maybe I'll take more time this week. I'll just start focusing on washing my fruits and vegetables a lot more than I usually do. Then maybe next week you focus on implementing more filters into your water systems, or you buy waters that have been distilled, or natural spring water or glacier water, for example, because tap water just means that it's chemically treated water. That just means more chemicals in your water.
What about the filters?
So
that you used?
I don't have a specific brand of filter that I use at this moment, but I do make a conscious effort to invest in a filter. And sure, you can go into diving further into the details to figure out which filter is the best or the safest. But at this moment, with all the things that I'm kind of balancing, at this moment, I do make a conscious effort to apply a filter that does have some sort of a backing behind it, being validated in any sort of manner. And then I also, when I buy bottled water, I don't buy purified water. I stick to maybe a natural spring water, glacier water, or a distilled water. So I'm again just being conscientious and making the small steps is what really matters.
Yeah, baby steps.
Absolutely.
If you're watching this, just take one nugget away and implement that, and come back and listen again, watch it again, and then you're ready to get something else. And I'm just so glad and happy that this information is getting out there, because people certainly need to hear it. And the sad thing is, a lot of people aren't ready until their health is already really bad. But I want to encourage you, by the time it gets there, there's so much that you could do before it gets there to reverse it and to do better. And eating quality foods, as Dr. McCoy is sharing with us, is probably the easiest, actually, to do, and the most impactful for the bang for the buck, more bang for the buck.
Absolutely. And let's say that you're not at a place where you can be more conscientious and pay closer attention to what you eat or how you eat. Then investing in a quality supplement is the next thing. So there are a lot of supplements out there that are not quality. Unfortunately, it's not regulated by the FDA, and they don't have to prove themselves safe or efficacious until after it's out on the shelves. And so maybe consulting with a healthcare professional, even if you want to even kind of inquire with me about different brands of supplements, I can certainly help with that. But investing in a quality supplement to at least get those micronutrients that you're not getting from your diet, at least making sure you get it. So even though I do practice very much awareness with what I eat, I still also take a quality supplements, and it has translated not only in my life, but even in my son's life. He's very much well developed, and I'm so thankful for that. And so I'm just paying attention to things like that. So supplementation is very much key, even if you are or ain't eating the way you're supposed to eat, right?
Yeah, I would recommend reaching out to Dr. McCoy to have a conversation about how you can supplement your diet. And like you said, even if you're eating organic and you've gone on the environmental working group site and you found out which are the best ones and you're doing all of that, I would still recommend reaching out to her to get, have a consultation about supplementation, because we cannot get everything from the food. We just can't. We couldn't eat enough food to be able to, and our soils are depleted, even, so it's definitely advisable to
Yeah.
supplement.
One little neat statistic behind what you just brought up. So again, let's say you are eating organic and you're eating the way you're supposed to. It's actually, it takes 55 oranges today to be equivalent to one orange back in 1955. So
Wow.
over time, the soil degradation, the impacts of us not taking care of Mother Earth, and the pesticides and herbicides and all the other chemical additions and man-made things that we've caused have just essentially caused the nutrient density within our foods to just essentially decrease. So it's either eat a whole lot more fruits and vegetables or eat what you need, but in addition to that, supplement where you need a supplement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. A quality supplement
Absolutely.
is just a part of our diet, our daily diet. And I just 100% believe in that. Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. And so thinking about, the people that are listening, what is one thing that you want them to take away, to grasp, to one thing that you want to give them?
It's important to love yourself and care about yourself before you're forced to love yourself and care about yourself. It's important. Our bodies are very intelligent. Our bodies will make us cough or give us a fever or swell up to say, hey, something's not right. That's actually a blessing. That's actually a positive thing. A lot of times we look at that as a negative. Oh my gosh, I'm sick. I can't go to work. I can't go out to party because I'm not feeling well. And we tend to put a negative connotation on our body being intelligent. But that's actually a good thing to say, hey, self, we're not right. We're not doing well. I need you to give me some more of those building blocks so that I can perform at the optimum level I'm supposed to perform at. You're not giving me enough calcium. So how am I supposed to build your bones the way I'm supposed to build? Well, you also need magnesium, not just calcium, to help me with the bones, and even some phosphorus. And a lot of times we only think about just calcium, but there's other minerals that help calcium to do its job. And we're not even taught that in schools or anything. So you don't know what you don't know, right?
Absolutely.
But our body says, hey, self, I need some help here. And a lot of times, unfortunately, we just put that to the wayside and we continue into hustle culture and I got to pay the bills and I got to do this and I got to do that, instead of giving our bodies the appropriate attention that it needs to be able to continue to show up for you so that you can pay those bills
Exactly.
or go to that
Absolutely.
party.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Our bodies are highly intelligent beings. And when we recognize and appreciate it as such, just that one thing increases our immune system. It builds us up because now the body feels loved. It feels valued and appreciated, and that contributes to its health. And then backing up that love and appreciation, putting in the things that are going to nourish it. And I love that you give specific nutrients. That's why I recommend people to reach out to you to have that consultation to see what they need, what their body needs. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Holistic, sustainable approach to mental and emotional health, because these things contribute to our mental and emotional health. If our body is not healthy, as you said, I believe that they feed on each other. We put in healthy nutrients, we give our body the nutrients it needs, it's able to perform as we desire. We don't, it's not.
I love my car enough to put premium gas in it. I love myself. I love my body enough to invest in quality foods, to invest in a quality supplement, to make sure my water is top of the line. I love myself enough to take care of it, and before I'm forced to take care of it.
Amen. Amen. That's what people need to hear. And it's not that they're not hearing it, they're not hearing it enough. You know, we have to hear things over and over again. We have to get it from here and from here and from here for it to sink in, because we're being bombarded with other messages. Oh, you need this alcohol, you need this this pizza, you know, this candy bar, you know. That's not what we need. We need the good stuff. The premium.
Well, sometimes the premium stuff puts other businesses out of business. So,
well, maybe they need to change their business, but they're not going to change their business until the demand goes down. So we really need to focus on ourselves and take
awareness and education. Absolutely. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I pivoted to really stand on impact over income. And I certainly want to leave a legacy here that not only I am proud of, but my son is proud of. And, you know, I'm just so thankful for just even the few lives I've already been able to impact. And like you read in my bio, like I'm on a mission. It says 1 million, but at this point, like the whole universe, I'm ready to touch everybody to say, hey, how are you taking care of yourself?
I'm with you.
Yeah. So
but this is I believe this is the future.
It is.
We're the pioneers that are, you know, bringing the awareness, because that's where it begins. We can't change something we're not aware of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, awareness is enough. A lot of times we want to take 10 steps forward, but 1 step forward is still forward, guys.
Amen.
So again, even if you're not able to just completely change your diet now, if it's not within your budget, again, just making the simple steps. Whenever you do go buy a water, make sure you pay attention to the type of water it is. If you're already going to go buy some water, for example, bottled water, again, just the small steps, it matters, and it does add up.
Would you be willing to just spend a minute on the difference between spring water and purified water?
Sure. So purified water basically means they took water from, whether it be the ocean, the sewage, wherever they get water from, they take it into some sort of a water plant where they chemically treat out the bad stuff, but also the good stuff. So they add chemicals, which takes out not only the natural vitamins and minerals, but it takes out the bad stuff as well. So there's this bittersweet caveat when it comes to that. But ultimately, they're putting in additional chemicals. Whereas natural spring water that comes from maybe water that is surrounded by a volcano, for example, where that heat within the ground naturally cleanses the water while also maintaining the natural vitamins and minerals within that water. So it is naturally cleansed by Mother Earth, based on, again, everything. Mother Earth is amazing, and it already has this cycle to basically rinse and repeat and do it in the optimal level that serves us. So generally you want to go with the natural option of cleansing your water rather than a man-made version.
I love that. And when it comes to, or any other things that are just kind of like simple switches, that simple switch from the purified water to the spring water, that's what you're looking for. And you want to know what spring it came from. They usually tell you.
Yeah, they do. And fortunately, the technology is at our disposal. Take the time to Google it, look it up, to do a little research. we all have the capacity to be our own doctors, our own gurus. Take the time to do some research. And then even if you're still not, you still don't have some sort of a conclusion, then take whatever research you have and then present it to your medical doctor, your psychiatrist, or whoever your primary care provider is.
I love that. I love that. That's being proactive. That's being an advocate for your own health.
Absolutely.
And we don't have to be, combative or aggressive with anybody, with the doctors or anybody, because this is not a blame thing. We're not blaming anybody for anything, even though, the big companies and they're making money. That's what that's just how they operate.
That's business.
It's not personal. But what's personal is how we individually treat ourselves. This is the thing we have to, and like I said, when we go to the doctor or whoever with our research, it's an exchange. It's a give and take. We're giving this information to see if they can give us some more information, if they can enlighten us from what they know. And guess what? When we do that, it's a win-win.
Absolutely.
We come at it with let's learn more about this so that you could be a better doctor. I could be a better patient, a better person. We're both be better people for having the knowledge and sharing the knowledge. And that's really what it's about.
Yeah. Again, one way to approach it is, hey, doc, I want to consult with you and see what your thoughts are, but I did a little bit of research and these are my options. I kind of want to just pick your brain and show you that I took some accountability in my life as an adult. But please, I've kind of dumbed it down to my top 2 items here, and I want to see what you think is a better product, or if you see something that I didn't take into consideration that maybe I should. It is your responsibility to take accountability for your health, and you're right. It's all about how you approach it. The doctors
would welcome that. I think they would welcome that. They would be glad to see you taking some responsibility for your health.
Absolutely.
And I think doctors want to work with patients that are willing to take responsibility for their health.
Yes.
Well, I really have appreciated treasure this time with you. And like I want, millions of people to be able to see this. And as soon as I have a way for those millions of people to see it, that's exactly what will happen, because this is valuable information and you are a valuable resource for anyone really sincerely wanting to improve their health and wanting to know it, from a knowledge perspective. Like I said, about the nutrients and what medications deplete what nutrients, and it might be even different for every individual, depending on the other factors that are involved. And this is why you want to talk to a professional. So
there's so many other caveats.
What a valuable jewel to have a professional who knows both sides.
Absolutely.
What a treasure. And so again, I thank you for this time, and we're going to get this out there, get the word out there so that people can have an idea that, and even if you're the person who's listening, if you're not on medication, someone who is. You probably have someone in your family who is, and they may or may not be open, but you having the knowledge, you can kind of ease more better foods into their diet, maybe bring them a fruit basket for their birthday, or we find all kinds of ways to help them get better, make better choices, and have better choices to choose from.
Sure. You're absolutely right. Well, I do want to leave the best way to contact me is actually LinkedIn.
Yes.
So LinkedIn, you can look up Dr. Dr. Brittany McCoy, or it is linkedin.com/in/DRB McCoy, MCCOY. So LinkedIn is the platform that I am on pretty much every day. And if you don't have one, I highly recommend you get one. So
Absolutely. So the best way to reach you is on LinkedIn, and just go into the search and look for Dr. Brittany McCoy, BrittanyMcCoy.
that is correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. McCoy. I appreciate having you here. Thank you for this time. May it be multiplied many times, and you just keep on empowering women to bring more balance and sustainable well-being in their lives.
Thank you so much. I received that.
Mm.